and the other Indians were all fighting against the British, or readying to fight them, and if he ran to them, he would just be forced to serve in their armies. He would fetch more pay in a native army, probably far more than the twopence a day Sharpe got now after stoppages, but why change one uniform for another? No, he would have to run to some place where the army would never find him, or else it would be the firing squad on some hot morning. A blast of musket shots, a scrape in the red earth for a grave, and next day the rats with wings would be yanking the guts out of your belly like a bunch of blackbirds tugging worms out of a lawn. That was why he was thinking about vultures. He was thinking that he wanted to run, but that he did not want to feed the vultures. Do not get caught, rule number 1 in the army, and the only rule that mattered. Because if you get caught, the bastards would flog you to death, or else reorganize your ribs with musket balls, and either way, the vultures got fat. The vultures were always there, sometimes circling on long wings that tilted to the sudden winds of the warm upper air, and sometimes standing hunched on branches. They fed on death, and a marching army gave them a glutton's diet. And now, in this last year of the 18th century, 2 allied armies were crossing this hot, fertile plain in southern India. One was a British army, and the other belonged to a British ally, the Nizam of Hyderabad, and both armies provided a feast of vulture fodder. Horses died, oxen died, camels died, even 2 of the elephants that had seemed so indestructible had died, and then the people died. The twin armies had a tail 10 times longer than themselves, a great sprawl of camp followers, merchants, herders, whores, wives, and children, and among all of those people, as it did among the armies themselves, the plagues ran riot. Men died with bloody dysentery, or shaking with a fever, or choking on their own vomit. They died struggling for breath, or drenched in sweat, or raving like mad things, or with skins blistered raw. Men, women, and children all died, and whether they were buried or burnt, it did not matter, because in the end the vultures fed on them anyway, for there was never enough time nor sufficient timber to make a proper funeral pyre, and so the vultures would rip the half-cooked flesh off the scorched bones, and if the bodies were buried, then no amount of stones heaped on the soil would stop the scavenging beasts from digging up the swollen, rotting flesh, and the vultures' hooked beaks took what the ravenous teeth left behind. And this hot March day promised food in abundance, and the vultures seemed to sense it, for as the early afternoon passed, more and more birds joined the spring column of wings that circled above the marching men. The birds did not flap their wings, but simply soared in the warm air as they glided, tilted, slid, and waited, always waited, as if they knew that death's succulence would fill their gullets soon enough. "Ugly bastard birds," Sharpe said. "Just rats with wings." But no one in the 33rd's light company answered him. No one had the breath to answer him. The air was choking from the dust, kicked up by the men ahead, so that the rearward ranks stumbled through a warm, gritty mix that parched their throats and stung their eyes. Most of the men were not even aware of the vultures, while others were so weary that they had not even noticed the troop of cavalry that had suddenly appeared a half-mile to the north. The horsemen trotted beside a grove of trees that were bright with red blossom, then accelerated away. Their drawn sabres flashed reflected sunlight as they wheeled away from the infantrymen, but then, as inexplicably as they had hurried and swerved away, they suddenly stopped. Sharpe noticed